Hello. Hi. Thanks for coming back to my channel, Ease the Wall. Wanted to show today, this one's kind of been a long overdue. I have tried filming this a few times. So hopefully this one goes through this time. My sister and I, Tina's my sister. You'll hear a lot about her. She and I'm sorry, I'm shaking this a lot. I don't know why it's doing that. She and I went on we used to go a lot of Saturdays a few years ago, always going to thrift shops or not too many garage sales, mostly antique shops all over, plant shops. Just now, she's retired, has grandchildren. I'm kind of in another phase. So, but anyway, a few weeks ago, we went antiquing. Oh my goodness. She had to get a side table for her great room. And I said, I'll go. I don't need any. I mean, I have a lot of stuff. And I said, I don't need anything. I am set. I'll just go for the ride. Okay. Oh, well, that's all I have to say. So, anyway, we went to this one shop first. I'm actually going to save that for a different haul. I'll probably film it right after this one because this shop I bought so many things from. Wow. It's going to take quite a while to get through it. So it is getting fall. The weather is amazing. The smell is in the air. Grab your coffee, your iced latte, your pumpkin spice. I get your candles. I got my candle ready. I got my coffee ready. I'm ready to go. So I was going to go around with the things I bought at this antique shop, and basically in the order I bought them, leaving the postcards and cards for last, all of them, because I did get a few different ones throughout the whole store, but I'll end with those. But anyway, my sister Tina, she was asking me different things like, what do you like? What are you looking for? I'll help you look. Because she will say, hey, let's go shopping, and she'll end up filling up my cart. And she buys nothing. She might buy one thing and I'm spending hundreds of dollars. But anyway, and that kind of happened again today, even though I wasn't going to buy anything. Anyway, I'm trying to get to this. You know what? I'm sorry. I forgot to ask how everybody was doing. So how is everybody doing? Hi, Mina. I've got my dog. She is a lap puppy. Well, she thinks she is. She's about 100 pounds, and she is one of the best. She's amazing. She's Mina. Hi, Mina. She doesn't bark unless the neighbor dogs bark, and then she's learned bad habits, but not really. I mean, great dogs. But okay. So anyway, how is everybody? Hope you're all doing well. I'm actually doing very well. I've had a great couple days. There is one thing that is happening in our family right now. Not with my sons. My sons, I pray every night that them and their better halves, whether it be, I have one son that is recently married. She is like the daughter I never have. Thank you, Sarah. You are amazing. My sons are amazing, Zach, Christian, Noah. But Sarah is my daughter that I never had. She will, I could go on about Sarah forever, but I love you, Sarah. I really do. All of my sons and their wives and girlfriends are healthy. Everybody's healthy. My sister Tina, her daughter Amy, is battling some things. Oh my gosh, this girl is amazing. Amy, please say a prayer for Amy. I mean, I'll kind of leave it there, but this girl is amazing. She has the spirit, the willpower. She has overcome a lot of obstacles and challenges and still comes up smiling. You know, I know she has her quiet moments when she needs to think about things and just compose herself, and she does. She gets right back up, dusts herself off, and goes on. So, if you would just, in your hearts, just take a few moments out and just say an extra prayer for Amy, my niece, I would so much appreciate it. I love you, Amy. And Amy's family, just, you know, keep them all in your thoughts and prayers. So now I'm going to get on with this. So Tina was asking me, you know, like, what are you looking for? And I'm like, old books. You know, I like old books. Just if it has like the brown around the edges, and if it has numbers in it, or like I've even told her school books. Like, this is an English grammar book. My gosh, I didn't fall over it when I first saw it, because I actually thought somebody just put this on, but come to find out, this is a cover. You know how in school we were taking grocery bags, brown grocery bags, or buying the nylon ones at school, but the brown paper grocery bags, putting them on our books, and then decorating them. I thought that was the coolest thing. The nylon ones, they weren't worth anything, but I didn't really like those. I like the brown paper bags. But anyway, look at this. This is amazing. That must have been how they did it. But then after looking at it, I mean, here's another thing I look for in books when I'm buying books. If there's a name written and a date, this one, March 5th, 1901. I'm in total love with this book. And then there's school papers in it. And being that this is from 1901, these school papers are, I mean, very strong. It's just like something you would buy at the store right now. I mean, they don't have the same feel. These are very kind of rough. But as far as strength, this is a good piece of paper. And then I did, flipping through it, I noticed there were some in the back. And they're diagramming sentences. And I loved English. And this, just to look at this, brings back so many memories of seeing the diagramming. Just fun stuff. I love, these are the little treasures you find when you're looking, you know. And this is something I didn't even see until just the other day. You know, it was just, you know, their English paper that was in the book. And look how it's left the brown in the book from this paper being in here. These are the treasures. This is the treasure. And then, of course, another treasure is finding the name in the front and the date. Those are complete treasures to me. So thank you, Tina, for finding this book. This one is pretty neat. I love it. I love all of my books, but that one's pretty neat. This one, Pictures of Memory. Look at this. I love paper with this edging. Look at that. Look, it's just all torn up. Look at the edge of this book. Well, okay, so treasure to my wife from, I'm not sure if that says Ned. I thought it said Ned. It might be Neil. December 5th, 1908. Farborough, North Carolina. These pages are, and look at, the staples are still in here. I mean, this book is put together so strong. These pages, Mina, no. Sorry, Mina, no. But these pages are like, wow, like a, what's the old paper, darn it. I've lost complete train of thought. The rag paper, that's what it is, rag paper. And the feel of it and the edges, no. The edges of it, and it's just amazing. No. Sorry, there is somebody out. Oh, FedEx across the street. Nina. This book, oh my gosh. This book I picked up, and I really didn't think I picked this one up. I knew that I was picking up a book with this author, but I didn't realize it was Portrait of a Killer, Jack the Ripper, Case Closed. But now that I'm looking through it, this isn't something I would have gone through a store or an antique shop and actually bought. I was trying to buy books that when I tear a page out, I don't have to read the page to make sure I can put it in there. I don't want naughty words, any kind of naughtiness, or, like even the word blood. I just don't want those kind of words in my journals. This book, though, I am so intrigued by it. It's got post-mortem pictures. I know this video is not intended for children, obviously, even though I don't try to put, bad stuff in it. But this book, after I've looked through it, I've always wanted, though, to do a journal. What is it? Pinterest has faux documents in it. Like, it would have a picture of William Shatner and a mugshot, and faux fingerprinting and then an investigation, and then they have an outline of a body, how they chalk line it out, and just pictures like that in Pinterest. And I want to be able to redo some of those and create my own images so that I can do a journal about a faux investigation. So anyway, when I looked at this book and I saw what it was about, I'm like, oh my gosh, I have wanted something like this. But for me to go out and look for a book like this, never in a million years would I've ever looked for this kind of book. But it was like one of those little happy accidents. My son calls me the Bob Ross. Noah calls me the Bob Ross of scrapbooking and journal making, because I find all these happy little accidents. So this book was a happy little accident for me to get this. Like I said, I would never. This is the kind of book I would look for. Walt Disney. This is what I look for. Look at this. I am in total awe of this book. Tina, this is the book. These are the kind of books I look for. I think she knows now, but yeah. I mean, it's falling apart. If it's falling apart, that is that much better. I love it. I mean, and this binding right here, I love to look at it. Because actually, when I've torn some books apart, sorry, but I do tear books apart. When I tear books apart, I like to save this binding and save it. And then it's been put in a journal for a little cluster area or to be put on a snippet roll. So I save stuff like that. But look at the edges of these papers. I mean, look at this. It's just amazing. But these stories, so I do want to eventually make a kid's journal, but even if I make an adult's journal and I put one or two of these pages in there, I might put a whole, I do have the little golden books that those will be one book will be turned into a whole journal. That is my plan. It's just, I got so many of these ideas up in this noggin that I'm trying to get them all out, and it takes a while. But to create, not to get them out. They're in there. It's just like, a jail trying to get them out. But anyway, these pages are just thick. Oh my gosh. These pages are like almost a medium weight cardstock, if that tells you. I mean, they're amazing. I love it. I mean, this is the kind of pages and books we used to have. Don't get me wrong. Now, when I open a book that's like a dictionary and how thin the pages are and the noise that it makes, I love those just as much. I'm a texture person. I always have been. That's something about me. When my sons make fun of me one time, we went to the Staples to get some copy paper, printer paper for my printer. And Christian, he was like, Mom, you're in there asking the guy and telling him that, well, anyway, he didn't make fun of me, but he was commenting that the associate was actually letting me open some of the packs of paper to feel the paper so I could make sure that's what I wanted. So, yeah, I'm one of those. So if you find the pack has been opened, I haven't taken any papers, but I might be feeling them. Oh, goodness. So anyway, these next two books are books that I found towards the end. It was actually in one lady's, and she was one of the ladies who worked at this antique shop. Wow, this is really moving a lot. Wow. Okay. Well, let's try to get through this. Some of the people I follow that make journals, they actually have Bible pages. I don't know if they've torn apart a Bible or they've gotten it somehow, but now these are like European, German, French, mostly German Bibles, that they have book pages in their journals. I never would have thought of doing that to a Bible because I thought it was like, sacrilege. But maybe it's not, because, and I guess I never thought about it for Bibles, but like these, the children's Bibles, the storybooks, my thinking is if I have some of these pages out in here, like, see, this says Daniel. One of these little boys and girls might not know a story about Daniel, but they can go, oh, that's Daniel. Oh, that's Mommy or Daddy, would you read me this story? Would you read this to me? And this might have been something that encourages this child now to say, can you read stories like this to me every night? Can we get one of these books so I can learn more? Like the Three Wise Men Come Home. There's just so many stories in here, but my thought is when I create a journal for an adult or a child, is to have some pages in here from this book. I've got a few of them, and put some pages in it and maybe a whole story, and maybe that a child will see that and go, can you read this to me? And increase their interest. And then, can we get a book like that? Can we do something like that? So that's kind of my thinking. I was raised in a home where we did go to church, not Sunday night, and Wednesday. Well, we did for a while. My mom, dad, and I, and the family, we did for a while. But then as got older and I had my family, we did when the boys were younger, then they got into sports, and I know that's no excuse, but yes, they did get into sports, and I shouldn't say it wasn't a priority, but when they have tournaments all weekend, well, anyway, I'll stop there. So this ledger, I was just talking to Tina. She had to run to another shop real quick and look for something, or somewhere in the shop. She had to go do something. And I was trying to give her an idea of the kind of books I look for. So if she found anything, to let me know. And she had just turned the corner, and I had just turned to walk the other direction. And I looked down, and there was all I saw was this. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't wait to tell Tina this story. So I picked this journal up, and I'm going to tell you, the prices in this shop, there were some that were, a little higher, probably reasonable, but a little higher than what I wanted to pay. This one, I don't even remember the price, but I picked it up because it was the only one I saw in that entire shop. And so when I went up to check out, one of the ladies who was working there, she had recently started junk journaling, and we chatted a little bit, and then when we finally got to this, she goes, oh, that was mine in my shop. And I go, oh my gosh, really? She goes, yeah, it was my dad's. And I have very little from growing up because our house burnt down when and my mom had some stuff. She wasn't a collector, but she had a lot of treasures That to us growing up was just like junk that we had to dust or, move it out of the way so it doesn't get broken. One of those. But we had a fire. No one got hurt. Thank God. No one got hurt. My mom was safe. My dad wasn't home. My mom was the only one home. But everything burnt up. Very few. Well, I should say the family Bible, it survived. And the family tree, it survived. How? No one knows. The Bible, it has scorched edges and the pages are scorched, but the pages themselves are intact. Nothing was burnt inside the Bible. Now, like I said, the edges are black on the top and the side, but the pages themselves, no damage whatsoever. So we were very fortunate. But anyway, so that's my story about that. So when she said this was her dad's, I said, how can you part with that? And she said, you should see what I kept. And I'm like, okay, enough said. Gotcha. So that's my story about that. So those are my books. So, love my books. I have way too many books, and every time I go someplace, I'm like, I am not getting any more books. I say that every time I get more books. Because I look at something, and it's, eventually we're going to be in a digital, well, we already are. We're in a digital age where books are going to be obsolete in, I'll say 20 years. Who knows? So books to me they're priceless. There's so much history in books. And well, you just saw all the history in there, the names, the writing, things you can't replace. So anyway, I do not sew. I do sew around my pages of my journal, or I might sew a tag or something, or sew an edge down it with some lace or whatever. But I do not sew and I do not embroider. But I bought these for, obviously, the threads. And this, whether I tear this in pieces and just use the edge of the brown, or if I cut out the entire thing and use this in one journal, I don't know. But I have options. So when I look at something, I'm always thinking outside the box when I'm looking at anything. How can I use it? I don't look at it and go, it's a piece of embroidery fabric and some thread. And I don't embroider. I don't think like that. I think, what can I make with that? What can I do with it? So my sons go through my house and go, oh, good Lord. I go, well, here's your inheritance, guys. They don't think I'm funny. I think I'm hilarious. But these threads, I can use these for binding journals. I can use these just taking some of the thread and putting it on the edge of a paper under, like take some of this thread, putting it under the edge of the paper and putting a tag on top of it, and that is gorgeous. I mean, I don't have anything, I don't have anything I could show, but here's something like, it's too big, but anyway, you have this and you put that on the side of a journal. I mean, it just draws attention. So yes, I bought this for the thread. I got Valentine's Day, I've got Christmas, I've got a, strawberry journal or a garden journal, flowers. I've got different colors. I got fall coming up, Halloween. Here's Christmas, here's my colors. So when I look at something, it's not, oh, it's embroidery. I look at it, what can I do with this? Can I use it in what I do? 9 times out of 10, if it's anything dealing with paper or fabric, I can find something for it. Unless it's, something that is not my color. But you can dye stuff. So that's another thing to think about. So here, well, I got to start with this. How gorgeous is this? My mom, growing up, my mom had 100 of these. And they all burnt, or I think all of them. I don't know if I ended up buying my parents' house. Thank goodness. So, but there's not a lot of the stuff that my mom and dad had other than what they acquired after the fire. The fire was a year after I graduated high school. So all the kids were, out of the house by then. I wasn't even living at the house. It was just my mom and dad. And, my brothers and sister had already gone through school. They were in, retirement age. They were traveling and doing things. So they weren't looking to add to their collection of goodies. But my mom had these. And I can remember her starching these little things to stand up and then putting the lamps right in the middle of it. Or she had oil lamps and she would put right in the middle. The oil lamps, or none of that was the cause of the fire. I think they found out it was electrical something. But yeah, this is what I grew up with. These on every end table, every coffee table, probably 100 more. So none of these things are my mom's. If they were my mom's, they would not be here. But I don't have anything like this of my mom's that I know of. This right here. This, oh my goodness. I could think of 100 things. And because it's not mine, like, I'm too sentimental. So if it was any of my family's, I couldn't do it. But this isn't. So to me, this is fair game. So when I look at this, I think, what can I do with it? Do I have designs in it? I mean, I can take this whole center piece out and I can use that whole center piece. These little things right here, here's something I will show you. Here's what I would do. Cabinet card. I have cabinet cards. Real ones, not ones I've downloaded off of Etsy. But when you're going through a journal and you pick up a tag or a card and you see something like this hanging off from it, how gorgeous is that? I mean, I would love to pick something up like that. And here again, that's where I had that thread, and I would put that up here on the edge and put something tiny on top of it, whether it be a little, well, if it was on something like this, I wouldn't put the thread on this. I mean, if it was something like this, I would try to keep it as nothing on it as possible, but I might put something like this on here because that is just gorgeous together. But if I have something like thick like this, like cardboard, I'd probably put an eyelet in it and have a dangle hanging off the side, which I might do something like that. I might make scans of this. I mean, this doesn't have a... I can't read it. I don't have my glasses on either. I don't even have them on my head. But anyway, that's what I would do with these. I look at these. I could also, if I had a book, my journal I just sold, which was my Christmas journal, I used a piece of linen and covered it and then wrapped the sari around it. But I could even cut this in half, put it around a book. Not this book. But I could also, cut it in half and use it as a page in my book, sew it right here so that you could turn this. I could also have these hanging out the side. And this could be, some lace hanging out the side. And then I could put a dangle off of this. And how cool is that? I love books. All of my books that I've made so far, they do not have a straight edge. Kind of like this. They don't have a straight edge like this. Mine have dangles hanging off. They're making noise. I play with it. It's got a jingle. The pages are not all the same, so the pages will crinkle like parchment paper or tracing paper or coffee dyeing, and the crinkle you get from deli paper. I'll have that in there. I have different textures. You know how when you're getting a piece of cake and that plastic that they put on it it wakes up the whole neighborhood because it's so loud. If I could have that in a piece of paper, I would have that in a journal. I love crinkling noises. So That's what I look at. I'm always thinking outside the box. What can I do with that? I can do a lot with this. So there I am. Tablecloth. This one, I bought it because I can see a lot of possibilities in the prints in it. But I don't know. But in my opinion, this was like a manufactured. I could be wrong. I don't know a lot because I don't buy them. I haven't bought anything like that. But to me, this is manufactured. It is not a made tablecloth. My mom had one made, and this looks nothing like the texture. Maybe it can be woven like this. I don't know. But I still bought it because I see the possibilities with it. So, yes, that. Here we start getting into the beauties. Look at this. This right here, this runner, I see the edges. I see 3 flowers. Well, then there'd be 6. I could use this on something. I could use this on something. I could use the whole bottom half of this as something. Again, I think outside the box. So that's a beautiful runner. This right here. You know why I bought this? I don't even know the price. This blue, when you see this blue and this green and you see something like this, don't you remember your grandma's house? Doesn't that remind you of your aunt's house or your grandma's house on those metal tables with the metal chairs? Oh my gosh. Yeah, it just reminds me of yesteryear, growing up. I was the youngest child of my parents, and my parents were both the youngest of their families. So when I got older, my grandparents were elderly. I was in high school and I did pageants. My grandma was in a nursing home, and as a community service, I worked at the nursing home. And she was in a nursing home. When I was younger, I remember going to her house. I remember her chenille, and I've got a chenille bedspread, and that's the reason I bought them, because I remember my grandma's house. But this reminds me of my grandma. This one, I was checking out, I think, or almost checking out, and my sister goes, "Look at this. This was more than what I wanted to pay, but this is heavy. You could use this as a blanket. It's so heavy." But I love it. And of course, it reminds me of Grandma's house too. Not the blue one does, more so. But this is the type of stuff I just remember at my grandma's house. That and her chenille bedspread and her furniture. That pattern, that texture, that furniture, I remember it all. So yeah, this was a little more than what I wanted to pay, but look at all of these flowers. Look at all of this. Not saying I'm going to tear everything up, but when I buy something, my intent is to repurpose it into something else. This tablecloth, now this, I believe, is the real deal. Just from the weight of it, the feel. The other one had no weight, no texture. Like I said, it might have been woven, but it was probably done by a machine. I highly doubt somebody, maybe they did. I shouldn't say anything else. But this one, I'm not going to stake my life on it, but look at this beauty. This is amazing. This one is gorgeous. It's heavy. The feel of it just feels amazing. Beautiful. This one, if they come this pretty and plastic, where they're all just, and of course I've moved it around, and like I said, this is the 3rd video I've tried to get done, so I've moved it a few times. I wasn't going to buy this. It actually took me a few times looking at it. Tina going, "Hey, Lisa, look at this. You need this." Well, truly I do, because, and it's another happy accident, but I'm making a purple journal, a lavender journal, and I've got different colors of purple in it. Do you see the colors and just the shimmer and the shine and the beauty? Look at that blue. I mean, that is just a blue that I mean, it's just gorgeous. And these purples, in the two shades of the green right here, this is just stunning. Stunning. Both sides. This is a very heavy linen. This is, I love it. It's beautiful. Love it. Now we start getting into the hankies. Oh my goodness. I actually had probably every hanky from this one store in my cart, and then I had to go through them and just decide what I couldn't live without. Because we weren't even done in the store yet. Because up until then, after that, that's when I started. Well, I didn't find it. Tina did, because she was ahead of me. But she started finding all of these cards. And I'm going to tell you what, she's like, do you want, and more postcards. I mean, and that'll be in another haul, because I know this one's going to be forever. But look at all these. After she goes, do you want these? And I said, yes. She goes, how many? And I said, all of them. All of them. I've never had real cabinet cards. I feel like I've hit the lottery. I mean, other than freebies that people give you, or freebies, I mean, as a digital download, or ones I've purchased off of Etsy, that's another digital download. I have never owned a cabinet card. Oh, beautiful. And some of them have like this on the back. I did not pay 50 cents. I got a good deal on them, but I did not pay 50 cents. She is stunning. She is stunning. Her eyes. But yeah, I've got happy accidents on the back of them. But anyway, to my hankies, look at these. Now this one has a little something on the edge, but they're perfect. Look at this. Look how thin that is. And the age of these, I'm sure they're vintage. Whether they're antique or not, I have no idea, but they're not falling apart. They're beautiful. This one, oh my goodness, look at the detail. Look at this. Look how, I can't even get it apart. It's so dainty. But look at this, how just amazing that is. And this is another one that's very thin. Not as thin as the other one, but wow. This one, look at this. Georgie H. Someone made this for Georgie, and now I own it. How beautiful. That may go into one of my fall journals. I don't know. But look at those colors. Look at that edging. And then there's that little green around it. Ah. I've got two of these. Mother. This is definitely a Mother's Day journal. And that runner that had the purple in it. I mean, I could even put it with any of these too that could go with it. That one, I mean, with the purple, could go in Mother's Day. But look at that mother. This, this I believe is that, who was it? Doesn't that look like that Eternity, the Endless Love? Jane Seymour. Beautiful. Look how thin that is. Just amazing. Here's the other mother. Yeah, I would be making 2 journals with Mother. Beautiful. Look at this one. The beauty in the green. Beautiful, beautiful. And then something I just noticed. Look at these. Okay, the flower right there. I thought it was a shamrock just looking at it. It's green. I thought it was a shamrock. But then look at these. These little flowers look just like this. Beautiful. This one is nothing special. It was just the feel of it. And it's got some, stains on it, but it was the feel of it. Kind of reminds me of my dad's hankies. My dad always, not like this. My dad carried a hanky. Sears, I think we got him at Sears, but my dad always carried a hanky. It felt like this. Some more of these beauties. Look at these. I will be making a yellow journal. I've just got things together. Now it will be next year, but I will be making a yellow journal. Look at this beauty. Look at that. This one I would say is just gorgeous. Oh, it's like this. This is the better side. There's the sewing edge, or the sewing edge was on this side. But look at that. Whew, I love all of my beauties. Look at this one. Ah, gorgeous. I could see this in an Easter journal. And I didn't notice it when I purchased it, but look at this design. Let me see if, let me see if I can put this under here. Can you see that? No, you probably can't see it. But there is like, I thought it was an Eiffel Tower just a minute ago, but then it would be 3 Eiffel Towers. Can you see the design in that? As dainty and as thin as that is, it has a beautiful design. Beautiful. But yes, I would definitely put this in an Easter journal. Oh my goodness, these. How gorgeous. Yes, this would either be on the edge of a piece of paper like that, you know, in my journal, and I would put like a, you know, something in it, but it would be hanging out the edge of the journal. I love having things hanging out the edge of the journal like that. I'd put a dangly on it. Or I would cut it in half or fold it in half and say it was in an Easter journal and you have a bunny. You know, we all know what Easter is, but I'm just saying I could, how I look at this, because here again, I don't look at this as a little crochet doily. I look at this as what can I do with this? I could do 100 things with it. But one of the things is I could put it like this. I'm trying to see. Oh, and if you had a little bunny or this lady and you put this on her, that would be her little skirt. How adorable. How adorable. Or, let me see. Trying to see if I can find one. Okay, well, this isn't a real good explanation, but you'll kind of see what I'm talking about. Let's see if there's a bigger one. Okay, so you have a big card and you have a flower. I would put this as the flower, and then you could draw, you know, a stem down. I don't know if there's bigger ones in here, but no bigger ones. But anyway, that's what I would do. I would put this as a flower, and then on the page I would draw the stem down and then put leaves, or you could even, you know, paint leaves or whatever, but this would be my flower. Or it could be a little skirt on a bunny. I don't know. I just bought it because it was tiny and it was cute. I don't know. I'd put it on the edge of a page. Here we go. I don't know what I would do with it, but I would find something to do with it. If I thought about it, I could think something. Here's another itty. I thought I had 3 of these little ones. I must have only had 2. And that one. Beautiful. This I know is a pot holder, I think. I think. You know, get something hot out of the oven. But I'm just in love with it. Now, when I say in love, it doesn't mean I'm not going to tear it apart. I wanted to own it. I wanted to possess it. This one has a stain on it. That doesn't deter me from buying anything. For clothing, for me, yes, it would deter me. But this, I think stains add character. That does not bother me at all. Same thing on this. This could be a page in a journal. You know, that could be a page in the journal. Or it could be like this on a journal. This is how I would love to see this. This could be the cover of this journal, and it go around to the back. And then I would wrap it with, you know, a sari silk or however, satin. I don't know, but that could be a cover on a book. Beautiful. Another hanky. This one to me looks like it was made with silk. I mean, it was made in Ireland. I just saw that tag right here. Irish linen. Doesn't say it was made in Ireland. It says Irish linen. So is Irish linen, is that silk? But this one is so soft. Look how beautiful. And this one, even though it's just a plain white flower, but do you see when you turn it how everything changes color? Like this white flower, but how I'm looking at it, I see silver just from how the light catches it. I see silver here, and then this whole leaf right here is a darker, shiny silver. Then here's white, but this leaf is divided down in half, where this side is white and that side is shiny silver. But I can see all of that. Like I said, it's white, and it might be plain to somebody, but it is exquisite. Love it. And here we just have another plain one, but the feel of the cotton, and it does have a little damage in it. Does not bother me at all. What will I do with it? I have no idea. But it's mine. And I can find something to do with it. Or it can stay with me. I would not be opposed to that. But my intention is to share with everybody, because I can always get some more. This right here, look at all of these beauties. Again, I do not embroider. I know it takes a lot of work. But I do know this is a little simpler to do as opposed to something like this. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. But when I look at this, look at those possibilities. Here, I can separate this. I can separate this. Look at all of these little half crescent or a crescent. Look at all these. I could line a whole page with that. I could line a few pages with that all the way around. That's what I look at. I probably going to have hate mail after this, but that's what I look at. But my loss is your benefit if you would buy one of my journals, because I love to put goodies in it. Look at this beauty. Look at this. She is beautiful. The detail in it, look at those flowers. Love it. Look at all of those beauties I get to use. You got 2 more here, and then 3 more down here. That's just of the pink. Now, if I wanted to use some of these and go along the edge of a paper, look at these. How gorgeous. Or I could even put this one right here on the edge of a paper and have that whole beautiful thing covering that whole paper. How beautiful would that be to open a journal and see that as your first page? Yeah, so that's what I think. That's what I think of. And this is the last one. Another beauty. And this one was pressed so nice, and it was starched, and it it's just gorgeous. Somebody took great care to keep it immaculate. But look at all these beauties I've got on here. Look at these little purple flowers for my purple journal. That beautiful rose. And that's where I was talking about to be able to take one of these and put that. I mean, and you can even dye it purple if you wanted, or whatever color. And then have your stem come down and have your leaves coming off. That's what I think about. Well, that was the end of that haul. Well, it's not the end, but this has gone pretty long. I've got quite a few other things from that day that I would love to show, just because they're beautiful. They're exquisite. Beautiful. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed my flip through today. I hope, or not flip through, I hope you enjoyed everything I showed you. Let me know what you think about what I'm going to be doing with the, with the linens. Is that something you do? Is that something you would think of? Do you still use them in your house? I just don't have a lot of girly. I had 3 boys. I don't have a lot of girly things. So I don't have lacy things out. I might put them out at the holidays or something like that. But still, they're pretty masculine looking around my house. But anyway, thank you for coming today. And I hope you enjoyed this as much as I did. Come back again. I will have plenty of hauls. And I am working on another journal right now. Love it. Love it. Love it. So anyway, thank you. Have fun. Have a great day. It's beautiful weather. Until next time. Bye.